Welcome to the Checkered Shorts Podcast, a podcast of three fraternity brothers reconnected by their love of IndyCar. Join us for grid-rival IndyCar fantasy talk, predictions for upcoming races, and reactions to race day results and all things IndyCar. Let's go racing!
Hey, hello, welcome back, Checkered Shorts, episode number 42. Professor Dinwiddie is going to help us out with a history lesson.
Absolutely. So 42, the number 42 has never sat on the pole or won the 500. As a matter of fact, it's a very rare car number. So I went to the 42nd running of the Indianapolis 500, which actually took place in 1958. In 1958, there was a rookie driver by the name of Anthony Joseph Foyt Jr., who made his debut in the 500 that year. Later known as AJ to all of us. That race, on the first lap, there was a 15-car pileup. And unfortunately lost the life of Pat O'Connor, who was a fan favorite and actually an idol of Mr. Foyt's. And later, AJ admitted that he actually considered never coming back to the Speedway again because of what happened on that first lap of that race. But lucky for all of us, he did. So 1958 was the 42nd running of the 500 and AJ's debut at the Speedway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of history there. And the start of an amazing career. So.
Yeah. 58, you said? 58. Yeah.
58, yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, so next up, we're going to talk a little silly season update. We got some updates between last time we sat down together and now, but it hasn't been moving very fast. I thought it was going to come fast. I thought it was going to come fast and furious, but it's been a snail race the whole time.
Yeah, not much. I think Dennis Hauger has officially been put on coin. Is that right? Dinwiddie kind of saw that. Mentioned that last week that he saw that coming, which is, Honda with Honda. Dale's honestly doesn't probably get enough credit for taking these guys on. It's kind of his role with the IndyCar series is just taking guys up to the big leagues and helping them get their feet wet, sort of thing. The one we're still waiting.
I'll be interested on that one, Pat, with the partnership with Andretti. I did not see that coming. I know that Dale was in Dennis's pit when he won the NXT championship this year. But I didn't see the Andretti connection coming and that technical partnership. We know what that's done for Foyt, having Penske, in that way. We know what that's done for Meyer Shank with the couple of partnerships they've had. But I'm interested. Dale Coyne is one of the most brilliant men in the paddock. And so we know Andretti struggled in various ways, whether it's in the pit stops, strategy. So does Dale bring something to them? We'll have to see if they benefit this year from
a great call. And just even this last season, what he did with his team, they finally have full sponsorships at the end of the season for this coming 2026. So Andretti is no slouch. They picked up Ron Rzuski, which is huge for that team. Rob Edwards is going to, I forget the title. They gave him something of competition. He's overseeing all auto sports for Andretti, I think, but not F1. So that's another silly season. And the big one we're still waiting to fall is where VK is going to go. Sounds like Juncos is where he'll land. Marshall Pruitt's still saying not AJ, and everybody else, I don't know if it would make sense. So just waiting for that announcement, I think. Anything else is kind of hearsay and Kyle Collette is coming in. So
Kyle Collette's testing with Foyt in Ohio, right?
Yes.
And then based on that test, we'll see. He's that kind of, if he does well, they expect that to be Foyt.
Correct. I think the way Pruitt put it, if he doesn't make any major mistakes, he's pretty much in that car, it sounds like. So,
guy that's in the top three in the NXT championship the last 2 years. So we know he's got tons of talent. And
knows the courses, he knows the gig, so it'll be nice he's just got a faster car now.
Well, speaking of guys that, you don't know the grid, don't know the tracks, like Mick Schumacher, possibly, testing with RLL. We know that Devlin is most likely out there, so couldn't Mick Schumacher end up in IndyCar next year? That'd
be huge. It'd be really cool. I mean, it's a nice big name. It's an F1 guy. But I feel like RLL does this to try to get a bigger name, and then it just kind of fizzles out. I can't give you a great example, but it just seems like an RLL thing. But it'd be cool if he did.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think there's probably a couple of other things we just don't know. And where's Connor Daly going to go? Sort of thing. Linus Lundqvist has been rumored to be in the mix of things. So that's just waiting for a few more things to fall.
And I know we mentioned this before, maybe a pairing of those two.
Yeah.
Linus on road and street and Connor on ovals at a place like Foyt or Bunkos or wherever,
Yeah.
I think it's all good. It comes down to dollars, right? Most of the time. And so who needs a driver and who needs money and who can bring it? So,
yeah. I mean, hell, if one of those guys brings money, could they potentially bring another car? Could Hunkos bring a third car if they, an RLL drops a car, something like that? I mean, they're not going to go over 27 cars, but just things to think about and see what happens.
Speaking of RLL, like I think it was Marshall Pruitt that mentioned it, that all the Honda teams now are in technical relationships except for RLL.
Right.
So Ganassi and Meyer Shank and Coyne and Andretti.
Yeah, you're right.
So we got one team sitting out there without anybody to kind of support them now. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. We shall see. I didn't think about this, but Power can't do anything with Andretti until January 1.
That's been an interesting storyline, hasn't it?
Yeah. Power is on Paul Tracy's podcast, which is a pretty good podcast. And they're short. They're 45 minutes, so they're not 2 hours long like some of these others. But he's like, no, man, I can't even do the Sims until January 1st. I'm still getting paid by Penske pretty much. So, pretty crazy to think about. But he's like, man, I'm ready to go in that Honda, see what that thing feels like. So I think that's silly season as we see it now.
So something else that I saw come up on my feed, just kind of trying to get an IndyCar fix, was the repair work going on in Turn 2 and the discovery that was made there. If you follow that, it was pretty interesting, steeped in a lot of history. And they talked about how they're going to uncover the original bricks, and then they didn't realize they were going to find a track above that and a track below that. So pretty interesting, and I think they did a good job of highlighting it, specifically on our president's page. Bowles, on President Bowles's page. He did a good job of highlighting and speaking about the history.
It was cool. Like, it just seemed like they weren't prepared for it, weren't ready for it. That's not a dig. It was just like, hey, we got some track repairs to do. Go ahead. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like, oh my God, look what we found. So like the original, 1909 track sort of thing was unveiled, like to the sunlight of the world, if you will. So that was the cool part to me. Like, it's one thing if you know what you're looking for and you're digging up, but they were just doing some repairs, and then you think you might be able to hit the brick track, but then go below that. It was pretty cool. Yeah, but man, those tires had to be stout back in the day, man. That stuff is just gravel and asphalt. It was pretty hairy looking and rough looking.
But don't forget, we were just at the museum, and those tires weren't as stout as you're talking about.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm sure they didn't do as many pit stops as they do now. And if they did, they sure as hell weren't as fast. But pretty gritty looking surface that they pulled up, but pretty cool too.
Yes, that brings us into a new segment we're going to try on, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're going to reflect back on the 2025 season, and each of us are going to share a little bit. I'm not going to go in too deep on each one. I'm just going to say who my good was, who my bad was, who my ugly was, and just kind of give a reason why, personal reason why. So for me, the good was particularly the finish at Milwaukee. So we talked a lot about Milwaukee and how much fun it was, but specifically the end of that race, the way it played out, the way the strategy played out, the way all the people that were there in attendance were zoned in on what was happening and they had an idea of what was happening, and it got super intense. I mean, it's probably the more intense moments I've felt going to watch in person. So that was my good. My bad, Devlin. Of the season, there is nothing that happened worse on the season than him getting behind the wheel of a race car. So it was horrid, man. It was terrible to watch. I'm starting to agree with Scott McLaughlin. His opinion, we may share the same opinion. And the ugly for me, and ugly because dangerous, the New Garden wreck at Gateway. And I would walk down the stairs to make my own pit stop, and I'm right down there at the fence and see that thing happening coming, and it sounded like all hell broke loose. To me, that was the ugly, because it was like, it startled me. You've seen wrecks, seen some things that close, the sound, I was like, oh my gosh, there could be a person dead, you know? It was an ugly wreck.
Very good. Go ahead,
Matt. My good was the bus trip from Liquid Johnny's to the Brewers game.
Lifesaver.
And news, I just looked up the 2026 schedule. There is a Friday game at home next year versus the Rangers.
That's a nice 3-day string together of athletic events.
Buckle up, Buttercup. The bad was Marcus Erickson. Just not very good. Was I think 6th the past 2 seasons with Chip Ganassi Racing. So some of that I think is, your cars and your engineers and stuff like that. But he was 20th this season, so he just has to do better, man. And the ugly, I'm going to say New Garden in a different way, though, Keith. Yes, he did win Nashville, but that whole cheating scandal again at the 500 with Qualls and the actuator, and just never got it together. Yeah, he did win Nashville, like I said, but just not New Garden-esque. And I think in a weird way, the sport needed him to do better just to compete. At some level to dominate, and bad luck that happens in racing, just like St. Louis. But certainly, I think he's better than that. So,
if he took a few away from Pelot and not Pato, then you might have a 3-way race. You may have 3 guys running at it.
And to your point for the Milwaukee, the good, Keith, it reminds me of like a buzzer beater, man. Like you want to be at those games. That was how you were glad you were in person for that one at the Milwaukee finish. You don't get to see those very often. You don't get to see buzzer beaters or last second touchdown throws. That's essentially what that was, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome. My good, I'm gonna look ahead to the 2026 schedule.
Okay, I like that.
I think that is my good. Very excited about the 4 races in the first 5 weeks. I'm excited about the Arlington race, the Phoenix race, the doubleheader at Milwaukee. Like we talked about it last week. Like I think there's just a lot of good to go with that in the next year's schedule. Bad, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say Newton, Iowa. The Iowa IndyCar race, which is now no longer. It was a good race. We had a couple good races there this year, but the fans didn't show out. The promoters didn't put on an event. Just a sad day, I think, for the 3 of us, because that's what's kind of started our IndyCar.
Yeah, you're right.
Relationship. So that's my bad. And then my ugly, I know I've harped on this all year, but I'm going to go with the IndyCar officials.
Yeah.
I think I was going to go the Daly Rasmussen incident and was going to be my ugly, but then I thought about what they did at Laguna Seca with Rasmussen leaving him, or Ericsson leaving him sitting right in the middle of the track for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And some of the calls they made this year or did not make just were extremely, extremely frustrating. And so that's my ugly this year as the IndyCar officials.
Yeah, I think to your ugly, at least give us some consistency. And even if Connor and the Rasmussen thing was your ugly, like it's because of the officials.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Iowa, man, that sucked. Iowa sucked. That holds a special place in our heart. Those were fun times, man, when Kenny was up there and Blake were up there sleeping at a shitty hotel. And we didn't care because we were having so much fun. Yeah, that's gonna suck. But
Keith, going back to your ugly with Newgarden, I almost took Gateway as my good, just because of, again, how much it's shocked us, and I don't know why we allow ourselves to be shocked every year, but how awesome that race was, and finishing under the lights, like just I'm excited to see that again next year as another night race. That's just a really good event. So hopefully we can get some more people there next year, pack that place, because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Well, I think it says, it was a pretty diverse year with a lot of things happening because we all came up with 3 different things. We didn't talk beforehand who was going to say what, and we had a pretty diverse offering of our opinions on each thing. So to me, that makes for a good season. I think since I've been following, this has been a more fun season. I know Pelot ran away with things, but pretty cool to see a guy at the top of his game go out and dominate too. As frustrating as it is, you want to see, you want to curse Tom Brady, but when he was on the television, you're watching, and you're watching greatness, and you're watching greatness. So, it's just up and down. A lot of good races, a lot of good race car drivers, and the events we went to, minus the disappointment of, we had a good time, but you just knew it was over at Iowa. I mean, the second we walked in, the second we parked, we're like, oh, okay. This is probably the last time we're coming. We told the waitress at the restaurant that we go to all the time, you're probably not going to see us next year.
Yeah, we're not coming back to Newton without the race.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice job. Nothing against Newton.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Newton's great.
Go to church on Sunday morning to the movie theater.
Yeah, washing machine. Yeah, church at a movie theater. Who would known? Washing machine capital of the world. But sorry, Newton. No, I mean, I Keith, good point. Those were all we kind of just came with that right before we hit record, and we all came up with those in about 2 minutes. So a little scattered, but that's how it's supposed to be. Loved it.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on episode 42. As we move on, we're going to do more segments, kind of reflecting back on the 2025 season. So you can look forward to that. We're kind of racking our brains a little bit about how to fill this gap until we get to go racing again. But I think there's a lot to unpack from last season. And then there's still a lot of news that's going to come out throughout the off season. So keep tuning in. If nothing else, get a little fix of IndyCar talk. Thanks for joining us.
See y'all.
Thanks, everybody.